Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Liam, bringing you another tech tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about installing WordPress from scratch. So, we're going to be using Ubuntu 18 as our virtual machine operating system and Azure as our cloud compute platform. Now you don't have to use Azure, you can easily use AWS or Google Cloud. Azure is just what I know, so I'm going to be showing you that. Without further ado, let's get started. So the first step is deploying the VM, and that's pretty cut and dry. We're gonna make a public-private key pair for it so that we can authenticate securely. And let's see, so I got this right here. And I used PuTTY-Gen to generate the public-private key pair. If you're on Linux, then you can use the command right here, SSH keygen. So, going through here, the only thing we're going to want to change is resize to 64 gigs, free account eligible. Yeah, we want that. Okay, you can skip all the rest of this stuff. Okay, so we got our VM up and running. Let's connect to it. So, I'm going to be using PuTTY again, just to show what you would do in PuTTY. So then SSH, we'll go to authentication and pick that. Okay, and then we will also go ahead and forward these ports. The reason we're doing this is so we can access port 80 and port 443 locally without exposing them to the internet. That lets you deploy the WordPress dashboard securely. If you have an open WordPress install on the internet, it will get scripted or botted by some random person. All right, so next step here is we are going to quickly configure our domain to point to our web server, to our virtual machine. So we're going to do that by doing this. Let's see. So for the purpose of this tutorial today, we're going to be using liamstreams.com. It's just a domain I happen to own and do not use right now. So hopefully you purchased your domain using Namecheap, or at least something that's not GoDaddy. Please don't use GoDaddy. And if you are at your domain dashboard, you will see that you can change your name servers. And what we're going to do, if Azure loads, is enter the name servers that it gives us when we create the DNS zone. Okay, so once the DNS zone has gone through, you'll see right here that we have a list of name servers right here. So we're just gonna literally copy and paste those into Namecheap. And then we'll also add this. So we'll do the @ and then we'll also do www. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so we got that. Let's take a look at the next steps. So when it comes to opening and closing ports on your web server, you can use the Azure Network Security Group, or you can use UFW. UFW is going to be faster. The Network Security Group is just the sort of next level of redundancy in terms of blocking ports. You're welcome to use either one. I'm going to be using probably the network security group for the most part here. And you can change those settings easily from here. Anyway, okay. So the next step is we're going to start installing all the required packages to make WordPress work. Now you might be thinking, hey Liam, shouldn't this be automated? Like, shouldn't there be a bash script for this? Yes, there should. The goal of this video isn't to show you all how to automate these sort of tasks, but you should work toward automating things like this. So for now, we're just going to do it by hand. So one of the first things we want to do is I'm pretty much just going to rapidly copy and paste. All right, so once Apache is installed, you should be able to actually see it on the ports, on the destination port that you forwarded. Yep, here it is. So we know that Apache is up and running on the virtual machine because we can see it right here. And we probably, yeah. So we'll install MySQL. Okay, so we have MySQL installed. Let's begin the secure installation of MySQL. So I just usually keep a list like this, and this is totally fine as long as your computer is nice and secure. Okay, remove anonymous users, just allow root login remotely. Remove test database, relay privileges table, there you go. So now we're going to want to start a MySQL instance and use the following commands. So as you can see right here, root is auth socket, and that will not allow us to authenticate with the password I just chose. So we got to change that really quick. So if you're using PuTTY, I highly recommend you do what I'm doing and make sure that the command looks right before you actually paste it into PuTTY, because PuTTY does this weird thing with SQL commands and it'll sometimes just hit the enter key when you paste it, which is super annoying. So root at localhost, yep, that's what we want. Okay. Sweet, so now if we go into it with this, we should be able to log in with this password. Yep, okay. So now we're gonna quickly create the WordPress database. So for the WordPress user, I use the username WordPress robot. You can use whatever you want. Yep. Okay. Okay, so our database is ready to rock. Now we're going to install PHP. Whole lot of copying and pasting. Okay, now we're going to tell Apache to prefer PHP over HTML files. Okay, and then we're going to restart Apache. Great. And then we'll go ahead and install the rest of these extensions as well. All right, so we installed our PHP extensions. Now we are ready to set up virtual hosts in Apache. So we're going to use these commands. Now you can see that it says mysite.com. I'm going to replace it with liamstreams.com because that's the site we're working with today. All right. and then we're going to create a config file for the domain. And this is an Apache specific config file. So it's liamstreams.config. Okay. Then you're going to want to copy this. So if you notice here, I didn't actually change the config file to match what the website should be. Server alias should not be www.mysite.com, should be www.liamstreams.com. Server name should be liamstreams.com. Directory should be var www.liamstreams.com. Those are all mistakes, I'm sorry. So then, okay, syntax okay. So then we'll also there we go. Boom. So with that, we should now see our little HTML blurb on localhost. So this is the point where I realized that I'm a fool, and I fixed my config file for Apache so that it actually works. So I still kept the server name as my site in this portion of the tutorial, and that causes us problems when I'm trying to get my SSL certificate. Don't be sloppy, make sure your config files are right. Cool. Now, if we check our syntax, and then reload Apache, now it works. Cool. That's what we wanted. Okay. So we got all that working. The next thing we'll do here is we'll enable mod rewrite, because Apache, or WordPress, I should say, uses that functionality. There we go. Okay, and we can also verify that PHP is working, and that's a pretty simple thing to do, so we will go ahead and get her done. Okay, and that's literally just that little blurb. Okay, and then if we go back /info.php, very nice. That's what we want. Okay, so that's all working. Now we're gonna go ahead and rm and there we go. So we just got rid of all that. Awesome. Okay, and then the last thing is we're gonna get our certificate, our SSL certificate, and that is actually amazingly painless in 2020. So, okay, so I had a little bit of trouble getting the certificate at first. I think that might be because of the firewall and DNS not updating in a timely manner. Let's see if this works. Nope. So then at this point, we're going to choose redirect to. Boom. Okay, that's what we want. Okay, so now our website should... Yep, it doesn't show anything, but the connection is secure. So we're pretty much ready to install WordPress at this point. Okay. I fast forward this portion a little bit because it's just going line by line through the tutorial. Just copy and paste these commands and you'll have the permissions set up properly in the WordPress directory. You'll have the necessary htaccess files. You'll have your config file. We're going to get into the config file in just a second. So before we actually copy in these secret values, I'm going to enter this in here. So our database name is WordPress. Our user is WordPress robot. Okay. And then we are going to drop in these values. Okay. Now we should be in the money. Boom. There we go. There's our WordPress install. So let's go ahead and set this up really quick so I can show you all that this works on the internet. Hello world, this is your site. Okay, so the one downside to using the localhost 5500 method is that when you set up WordPress like that, it's going to try to connect on port 5500 in the future, which works when you're testing it locally with a tunnel like this, but it does not work when you want it to face the internet. So it's pretty easy to fix this. Go onto here. Go into settings, general, and change this to the actual domain. Make sure to do HTTPS. And then save changes. Boom. Okay, so now we're going to kill these putty instances. Moment of truth. Hey, there we go. All right, so it works. It works. You got a WordPress install, you got a SSL certificate, and it faces the internet. And it takes like an hour to do, if not less. It's not too difficult. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked this video and you want to see more of this kind of stuff, like please drop a comment, please like, subscribe, do all the typical YouTube stuff. Yeah, because I enjoy making these videos, and if these are helpful and people are finding value from them, then I'm happy to continue. Until next time, peace out.